Morning there, CJ Math students. So today we're going to go ahead and continue with our operations with rational numbers, notes 2.3. So today is a Buzzmath day. We're making sure that we're worried about our accuracy today. So first level you're going to worry about is adding negative integers using the number line. This should be pretty familiar already. Think about what happened when you added two negative integers. Is the sum of two negatives 0, positive, or negative? Sum of two negatives will always be negative. Please write this down. Negative plus negative equals negative, right? S-S-A-K. Same signs, add and keep the signs. So let's use the number line to find the sum of negative 13 plus negative 4. So we start at negative 13, and this tells us, okay, we just need to move left 4 times. We need to get more negative. So in doing that, we just end up 1, 2, 3, 4, end up at negative 17. So negative 13 plus negative 4 is an example of same signs. I add, keep the sign, negative 17. Use the number line to find the sum of negative 5 plus negative 1 plus negative 2. So start at negative 5, move left 1 time, and then move left 2 times. Very simple. Alright, so move left once, you get negative 6, move left twice, 1, 2, get negative 8. This is basically the same thing as negative 5 plus negative 3. So negative 5 plus negative 1 plus negative 2 equals negative 8. The sum of two or more negative numbers is also going to be negative, right? Add up nothing but negatives, you're going to get a negative answer. So adding positive and negative numbers using the number line. So here we go. Use the number line to find the sum between 1 and negative 2. So start at 1 and then move left negative 2. So starting at 1, move left 1, 2, I end up at negative 1. So 1 plus negative 2 is equal to negative 1. This is an example of DSSL, different sign, subtract, keep the sign of the larger. Do I have more positives or more negatives here? I have more negatives. That's why my answer is negative. Use the number line to find the sum of 3 plus negative 5. So notice that these go by 2, so the individual hash mark are the odd numbers. So I'm starting at 3. I want to move left 5 times. Negative 5 times, we could say. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. End up at negative 2. So 3 plus negative 5 equals negative 2. Again, this is DSSL because I have more negatives than I do positive. My answer will be negative. So really here in my head, even though there's a plus sign, I was really doing 5 minus 3. My answer isn't positive 2, since I have more negatives, it's negative 2. So this time we're going to start at negative 13, and we're going to go right 5 times, because it was plus 5, so right 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, end up at negative 8. So negative 13 plus 5 equals negative 8. I had more negatives, that's why my answer is negative. Since they were different signs, subtract, right? Subtract. Really in my head I'm doing 13 minus 5, which is 8. But again, since there were more negatives, my answer is negative. So which expression below has a positive sum? Just go through this and say, all right, which one has more positives? So negative 5 plus 7. Circle the number that we have more. We have 5 negatives, 7 positives. Oh, that's going to be a positive. Negative 2 plus negative 2. We have nothing but negatives, so this is going to be negative, so no way. Negative 5 plus 2. We have 5 negatives, 2 positives. We have more negatives. So again, the only one that is going to be positive is negative 5 plus 7. Right. Adding integers using chip model is your third level today. So how many chips do you have to add to this set to make it equal to 0? So just imagine you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positives. What is the opposite of 7? The answer is negative 7. So you need 7 negative chips for this. This is called the additive inverse, the opposite. 7 plus negative 7 will always equal 0. Check all the sums that will be negative. So again, you're just going through here and saying, all right, do I have more positives or negatives? Well, 8 plus negative 6. 8 positives, 6 negatives. I have more positives, so my answer will be positive. 7 negatives, 2 positives. I have more negatives, so my answer will be negative. So that's one I can check. Negative 8 plus 6. I have 8 negatives, 6 positives. my answer will be negative because I have more negatives. Negative 7 plus 0, I have 7 negatives and no positives, so again, my answer will be positive. So will the sum of 27 plus negative 20 be positive or negative? Hopefully by this time you're saying, hey, I have more positives, so I have 27 positives versus 20 negatives. This is an example of DSSL, where I would do 27 plus negative 20. Really, different signs subtract, right? So 27 minus 20 would give me 7, and this time my answer is positive 7 because I had more positives than I did negatives. How many chips will be remaining when I add negative 21 plus 25? So really they're saying, hey, do a DSSL right here, different sign subtract. So you'll do 25 minus 21. You'll have 4 left over, and will those 4 chips be positive or negative? Well, I have 21 negatives, 25 positives. My answer will be positive 4 because I have more positives. Order the sums from least to greatest. The easiest thing to do is work these out. So let's go ahead and say, all right, this is a DSSL, this is a DSSL, this is a DSSL, and this is the only SSAK. So SSAK, same signs, add, keep. We get negative 6 plus negative 6, just add them and keep the sign, right? So we get negative 12. DSSL, different signs, subtract, but anything plus 0 is just going to be that thing. So negative 6 plus 0 will just be negative 6. Now, different signs subtract larger. Negative 6 plus 7. I know that's a plus sign, but you have to envision this as actually saying 7 minus 6. Why? Because they are different signs. You have a negative and you have a positive. Different signs. 7 minus 6 is 1. Is my answer going to be positive or negative? My answer will be positive because I have more positives. So positive 1. Then negative 6 plus 15. That's also a DSSL. So again, you have to envision this as not saying negative 16 plus 15. You have to say 15 minus 6. And this gives me 9. Is my answer positive or negative? Well, I have more positives, so my answer will be positive. So I have to order from least to greatest, 9, 1, negative 6, 12. Well, the order would be the smallest, most negative number would be negative 12, because that's farthest left, then negative 6, then 1, and then 9. This is a tough one. Make sure you take your time. Add negative 13 plus 61. In your head, you should immediately say, different signs, so I need to subtract. So I need to do 61 minus 13, borrow, I get 848. Is my answer positive and negative? Well, I have 13 negatives, 61 positives, so my answer should be positive because I have more positives. Lastly, match the addition expressions that have the same sum. So this is an SSAK. This is added up and equal to, add them up and keep the sign, negative 15. This is just positive 15, 14 plus 1, we know that. This is also an SSAK. Negative 3 plus negative 3, same signs, add, keep, gives me negative 6. This is also an SSAK. Negative 8 plus negative 8, same signs, add and keep the sign, negative 16. So let's find out the DSSL ones that have the same. Well, 0 plus negative 6, that's an easy one to start with. Just give me negative 6. So those two match up. Negative 17 plus 32, that's a DSSL. I'll put that over here. DSSL, different sign, subtract. So 32, oops, sorry about that. 32 minus 17 will give me 15, and is my answer positive or negative? I have more positive, so positive 15. So these two match up. So that was positive 15, and this was positive 15. Negative 14 plus negative 1, that's an SSAK. You same signs, add, keep, you get negative 15 because 14 plus 1 is 15. Keep the sign of negative, negative 15. So those two match up. Obviously that leaves these two to match up. Let's just prove it. This was a DSSL, different sign, subtract. So this is really saying 26 minus 10. My answer is 16. Is my answer positive 16 or negative 16? I have more negatives, 26 negatives compared to 10 positives. So negative 16, that's why both of those are negative 16 in the matchup. All right, make sure you're getting accuracy, good accuracy on Buzzmath.